Slowhands Rock Talk Show.
Looking to get a professional website built at an affordable cost? Then look no further. Nova Web Design offers you all the services required to put your business on the map. Whether it's website redesign, website development or website maintenance, it's all here and more. Click the link in the description for more info. Before the video starts, if you could do me a huge favour and make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. It's free, it only takes seconds to do, and it really does help the channel continue to grow. Now on to the video. It should be good, but guys, thank you so much for making a little bit of time out of your Sunday to come on to the podcast and to speak to myself about all things music. As I just said there, we'll talk about music for yourselves, we'll talk about the band, probably talk a lot about Penntera, since we're both big fans, and we'll talk about everything else that fits in between as well. You guys are out in Pennsylvania. The only thing I know about Pennsylvania is Groundhog Day, the movie.
That's all you need to know. That's it.
And that was February 2nd, so that's just passed as well.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
It's a real thing, and for some reason it keeps going every year. Yeah, and it's the first thing they tell us in the beginning of February. We got to know if the groundhog saw its shadow. It's dumb, but yes, absolutely, it's a real thing.
I like that. I think that's good. Maybe it's just because I like the Bill Murray film.
True, maybe.
But what I do with all the guests is I go back to the very beginning. So for each of you, where were you brought up?
I'll let you start that one.
Oh, you want me to go? Yeah. So, I was brought up in a suburb of Washington, D.C., actually, about 2 hours away from here, and started playing guitar when we moved up to Pennsylvania way. Moved to the side of a mountain, didn't have many friends, so I just kind of picked up a new hobby, started playing guitar, learning, Ozzy riffs and Green Day songs, and just whatever I could, play power chords to.
Yeah.
And eventually joined an original band, got that going. And then, a couple years later, they came knocking, asking if I'd be willing to play for a Penntera tribute band. And Dimebag's been one of my biggest influences since I was a kid. So, I definitely had to take them up on that, even though it was pretty big shoes to fill at the time. Still is.
What about yourself, Zach?
So I'm right here, Pennsylvania, born and raised. I wouldn't understand not smelling cow shit every morning, so that's fantastic for my end. I started playing bass a little bit later, actually. I was probably about 14 or 15. I really had a high desire to get into music. I didn't really know where to start, and my fingers don't work for guitar, so I did the next best thing and picked up a bass and kind of hit the ground running with that. I practiced for a little while, joined a couple little garage bands, and then eventually moved on to join in the band that he had started with his good friend. So we kind of got started there together, and that was back in 2011. And then Pat and I continued to play together out through when he got hired into Penntera originally. And the bass player at the time had a work accident, so they needed a fill-in just temporarily.
Right.
So Pat already knew me from the band we were in together, yep. So he came calling, and I filled in for a show or two, and it ended up being so that the original bassist for the band couldn't continue to do it any longer, so I kind of just stayed the bassist of the band.
He's our permanent fill-in player.
Yeah. As they say, the rest is history. Yeah. I've been in it ever since.
That's fine. Obviously, you'd said that you got into music in your teenage years. Would that be the same for yourself, Pat?
I started learning probably when I was about 12 or 13. I got into playing guitar.
Why was it the guitar? Why was it not the bass for yourself, or the drums, or something else?
Well, I always thought drums would be cool, and then my parents said absolutely not, too loud, too obnoxious. I was already hyper enough as a kid. They didn't be banging on pots and pans and everything, so they wouldn't even give me an electric guitar to get started because they were worried I'd crank the amp up all the way. So started with the acoustic, just a classical nylon string, and then just kind of worked my way up. And eventually, when I showed enough interest in it, and I was just trying to play Iron Maiden on an acoustic guitar, they were like, "All right, we'll get you an electric." So
that's a little difficult.
Yeah, Iron Maiden. That's another great band to mention. Oh, yeah. But I was going to say, who were some of the bands for each of you? Who did you start discovering? A lot of people I speak to you know, if they've got cool parents, they might be exposed to some classic rock and bands like that. But normally most people, it seems to be around the age of 11, 12, when you're kind of about to start high school, that you start to discover music for yourself, something that's different from what your parents maybe like. So who were some of the first bands that you noticed for yourself?
I'll start that one. So I have the exact parents you were talking about. I've got very eclectic parents. I've got a dad that has music taste that ranges from Metallica to Pink Floyd. And my mom was a big hippie growing up, so we had a lot of Joplin, had a lot of like old stuff like the Monkees. And, you know, that's, I think, where I developed my thirst for the low end, because a lot of these older hits and funk influenced things like Donna Summers and all the Giorgio Moroder produced stuff there in the 70s is so bass driven. And you start seeing a lot of ways that it transverses itself into modern music. So a lot of that ties itself together anyway. And when you have that big musical taste, you start to understand the bigger picture, and you start to see a lot of similarities in cross-genre platforms. So, I mean, I listened to everything growing up. It wasn't actually until I started learning Penntera for the band that I actually really fully got into Penntera. That was one of the things that missed me growing up, and I had no idea how after I started listening to it. I was like, oh, this is awesome. What have I been doing listening to, you know, I don't know, the Monkees and shit. So,
What about yourself, Pat? Who were some of the bands that you discovered for yourself for the first time?
Yeah, so kind of like what Zach was saying, obviously my parents, they had, you know, a lot of eclectic influences. My dad was a big Elvis fan. That's always been his thing, you know, Elvis. So, you know, I think growing up, the melodies and all that kind of stuff really stuck with me. And I really like melodic stuff from that. You know, he took me to see the Beach Boys when I was like 7 or 8 years old. Yeah, just stuff like that. But I would say the first real band that I heard and went, oh, that's the music I've been wanting to hear all my life was probably Linkin Park, the Meteora album.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so that album there kind of opened the doors. It was like, oh, so this is what rock's all about. And, you know, I mean, it's got the rap influences and all that. And then, you know, from there, it started branching out. You know, I would listen to heavier stuff. I'd get into, you know, Slipknot and all that kind of stuff. And then I'd also go the more melodic route, like I was saying. And that's where, you know, the Maiden and all that kind of stuff came in. And then, you know, then I heard Master of Puppets and it was game over. That was my album, man. Yeah. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, cool, I need a guitar right now. I'm going to learn this riff and, you know.
You hear Master of Puppets and it gets its hooks in you. It's done for.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was exactly for me the album that changed the direction of my life. It sounds very dramatic, but, you know,
it does though, you know.
You know, but I was listening to music, and my dad, similar to your own dad's, had a great taste in music, but it was bands that he grew up on, The Who, The Doors, Creedence, all great bands. And then one day my friend came down with it was a cassette tape, that's how old I am. And he came down with a cassette tape, a copy, and he said, put this in. And it was an On Came Battery. You know, it was the start of Master of Puppets album. Didn't know what it was, didn't know who Metallica was, didn't know what heavy metal was, but there's something inside. I was like, I like this. And it's great because you then discover the next band and who influenced these bands. And, you know, you go down this rabbit hole that you can just keep going. And, you know, fast forward 30 something years later, I'm still tumbling down that rabbit hole, discovering new bands. It's cool. But another big thing that I think is really important, and I think it's something that everybody should experience, even if just once in their life, a live concert is something that's just spectacular. It's outstanding.
It's life-changing.
It doesn't matter who it is that you go to see, but there's something magical about going to a concert. And, you know, I've been going to concerts for more than 30 years now, and I still love it. I still get the exact same feeling now that I did when I was a teenager.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. What was the first professional concerts that each of you attended?
Oh, man.
So the first, I'll go metal because, like I said, my first concert ever was the Beach Boys, which was cool. Yeah. But, you know, the little different vibe there at the county fair in the middle of Maryland. But first live concert I saw was it was a tour called Sounds of the Underground in 2005 or 2006, I believe. And I still talk about this tour because every band ever was at that show. Like it was crazy how many bands were not even up and coming. Some were, big at the time, but like Cannibal Corpse was there, Behemoth was there, As They Lay Dying, Trivium, which is still one of my favorite bands, In Flames,
the Who's Who.
Yeah, Black Dahlia Murder was there. It was just so many of these bands that are, now just household staples, and most of them were just kind of getting their start, and it was just so cool. And I remember the first band that day was Through the Eyes of the Dead, and we were sitting basically eye level with the PA system. The pit was below us, and we were on like the fifth row up in the seats, and the first second those kick drums hit, it literally pushed me back in my seat, and I could feel the double kick in my throat, and I'm going, is this how loud it's supposed to be? Holy
and
shit.
so the addiction begins.
Exactly.
I think that's the thing as well, though. People are so used to hearing music, when you tell them that you can feel it.
I felt it there,
I still remember the first concert I went to, and we went into the arena, and I think the roadies were still doing the sound check. It was, it was starting to fill up.
Right.
And even just hitting the kick drum just to get the volume, and just feeling it thudding in your chest. You're just like, this is going to be some night.
I still look forward to that during sound check. Like anytime we're doing sound check and our drummer's hitting the kick drum and it's just shaking your head.
I was about to say the same thing. I look forward to that. It's like it's almost like an olfactory sense. It's something that hits you, and it immediately takes your mind back to like what you said when you first started experiencing concerts and you start hearing that loud bass, and when you can actually start feeling something. It's a sensation like, I didn't know I could taste these colors.
It's crazy because my dad, similar to yourselves, he grew up in all these classic bands, and as much as it would have been cool to go and see them back in the day, the sound system wasn't as good back then. I sometimes think, imagine if you had those classic bands from the late 60s, 70s, but with 80s, 90s technology onwards.
Wow. That'd be crazy.
It would have been something.
Imagine Hendrix being able to play through a, M&T Bank Arena here in Baltimore. That'd be crazy.
But obviously the Penntera tribute band, it started 2009.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
17 years. I know there's been a couple of wee changes along the way, but 17 years is a long time to keep a band together, whether it be originals, whether it be a tribute band. It's a long time. It's hard work to keep a band together. But how did the band itself originally start?
You're more of an expert on this than I am.
I know the lore.
He knows the lore, yeah.
All right. So our drummer, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, his name is Eric. We call him Space. So Space was living out in Los Angeles at the time, and he moved back to Pennsylvania, and there was no music scene around here. There was a little bit of an original music scene, but nothing crazy. And, he's just thinking back to out in LA, there's tribute band, and there's so many of them, and they're all making bank, and they're all, playing these big arenas and
having fun.
And having fun doing it. It's not your own music, but it's still, you're out there having fun, screaming crowd. He wanted that. So he was just kind of racking his brain, trying to figure out what kind of tribute band he wanted to do. He's a big classic rock guy. He loves, The Who and, all that kind of stuff. Pink Rush, Floyd, Pink Floyd, all that. And then, but he's also a big metalhead like us. He actually got to see Metallica, and he helped run security for him a couple times. He won't let us forget that story. But anyway, long story short, he got home and he's like, what do I do? And he just had like VH1 Classic playing or something in the background, just, playing music videos. And Cemetery Gates came on, and it just kind of hit him like, that's what this world needs, is a Penntera tribute band. And then he kind of started from there, ground up, put ads on. I think it might have been MySpace at the time, asking for people to play. And he got a pretty good lineup together. And they started out 2009. And our original band, funnily enough, started in about 2009 as well. So we opened for them a bunch, which is how we kind of got our feet in the door for eventually getting in the band. But yeah, those early days, they were... I was their number one fan, so it's kind of cool being, in the band now. But
we used to look forward to opening for them because, at the time they were so good. It was truly, you're not going to see Penntera, but they're still providing an experience.
Right.
They're not trying to pretend they're Penntera. Nobody's trying to pretend anything. We're just playing the music. And for us seeing that when we were still young, we were like, oh my God, these guys are so good. They're playing it so well. It's like seeing Penntera. Then, 5-6 years later, we get the phone call to join the band as well. And we're like, oh, we'll be there. Yeah, absolutely. We're there.
I've got a funny feeling that the two of you are probably a bit younger than myself. Did you ever get to see Penntera live?
Not the original format, no.
Unfortunately.
I really wish. I was, we were probably, about 13, 14 when Dimebag passed? Yeah, something like that. So it was, to talk about getting into metal music and all that kind of stuff, I'd only been getting into metal for about a year or two at the time. And, Penntera was one of those bands, like I said, I'd heard about at the time. And I remember, it'd be cool to see them. And, then all the news broke. And I still remember the news breaking, even though I was pretty young at the time.
Yep.
But yeah, that was unfortunately just a little before our time, being able to see the original. We've seen the new iteration that's come around. I've seen them 2 or 3 times. He's seen them once. Yeah. It's fun. It's cool. It's a great celebration of what they do.
Yeah.
It's not Penntera, but it's a great.
It's not the Penntera.
Yeah.
Yeah. I discovered the band in 1992, and it was proper old school where I went to the record store and flicking through the CDs, and I just came across Cowboys from Hell album cover. Had no idea who Penntera was, but I just thought that's a cool looking album cover.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it, and hopefully the music's good when you get home and you pop it on the CD player. Yeah. And of course, the rest is history. But
you had to judge a book by its cover moment.
Yeah, but I only got to see them once, and it was in 2000.
Oh, wow.
And so it was the last tour, the Reinventing the Steel tour.
Yeah.
As much as they were one of my favourite bands, I'm sad to say I wasn't impressed by them. I think they'd maybe partied for 10 years too much.
That's fair. That's fair to say.
They were pretty messed up. It was a great venue. It's a venue in Glasgow called the Barrowlands, which is that's really famous. A lot of the big bands come there. But I think it's maybe 2,000, 2,500 at the most. So it doesn't matter where you are in the crowd, you get a good view.
Right.
It sounds fantastic.
I've actually still got the ticket stub. I've got a board behind the camera that they're all pinned up. And hold on now, I'm going to go and check this out, because the way that prices are now, ticket prices are ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure.
This was £11.
Oh, nice. God. Wow.
And similar to yourselves, I saw the new kind of touring Penntera last year in Glasgow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was the real Penntera.
That's awesome.
That was £11 a 2,000 standing venue.
Yeah.
In Penntera last year, and it was a 13,000 seater, and the ticket was £80. So it was almost like 8 times more than that. And you know what? It's not Penntera, but those songs deserve to be heard live. They're that good.
Yep.
And Phil and Rex are doing the best as what they can with what they've got. And of course, Charlie and Zach, I mean, they're almost as not perfect as you can be. That it was really nice, but a lot of people arguing, is it Penntera? Should it be called Penntera? I don't even think those guys call it Penntera. They're just wanting to pay tribute to the brothers and to the music.
Agreed.
Absolutely. They're playing Penntera's songs, and if they want to continue on as Penntera, that is technically half their right to do. Yeah. And if they have the approval of the necessary people to do so, then, nobody really can say anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say, they were better last year than when I seen them, because I think they just partied too much.
Absolutely. I think that was a rough time to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Albeit that it was still pretty cool to say I saw Penntera, but I was seeing a lot of bands back then, and some of them were just kind of starting out and they were on fire. Yeah. So, but it is what it is. But obviously, I listened to the band, and he's kind of touched on this earlier. What I really like about the band is note for note perfect. Like sound wise, you close your eyes, you go, that's Penntera, but you aren't trying to be them on stage, because there is a fine line that you can walk when you're a tribute band. That it can become a bit cringy if the guys trying to be the actual guys.
We agree.
We're not wearing wigs on stage. I'm not dyeing my people, that kind of stuff.
I understand why they do it, but just me personally, I've seen a couple of other tribute bands that come through, some Iron Maiden ones, a couple of Doors ones.
Yeah.
Musically, they're all really good, but there's something for me personally, it's a bit off-putting when the Doors one comes through and the guy thinks he's Jim Morrison on stage because, you're not Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
But I get it, but I like the fact that you guys, musically, you've really studied the songs.
Right.
Because you close your eyes, that's the closest you'll get to Penntera live these days.
And thank you very much. That's an amazing compliment. And that's what we feel like all the fans feel is the most important part of Penntera is the music. Of course you go to see them and it's a party atmosphere. It's a lot like your normal metal band where the bass players stay in stage left and the guitar players stay in stage right. And they stay there all night. Penntera is running around like idiots the entire night, jousting with each other on stage. That's the fun part of Penntera, and that's the part, if anything, that we should be emulating.
Right.
But all the kitschy kind of dressing up like the band and stuff, that's not how Penntera rolls.
Yeah.
If Penntera wouldn't do it, we're not going to do it either. So we're not trying to be anybody we're not. We're just trying to pay homage to a band that deserves it.
I mean, that being said, I do have all Dimes guitars and all that crazy stuff. But real quick, our singer might try to join this call, by the way. I sent him the link. I don't know if he's waiting in the thing or not.
Yeah, 2 seconds. I'll see if I can get him to join. I was going to say, you do have to recreate the sound as best you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we're going to consider ourselves a Penntera tribute band, we have a responsibility to try to recreate it as accurately as possible. Hey, it's Chris.
What's up, Chris?
Oh, Chris, even.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
Hey.
Can you see and hear us okay?
Yeah, looks good.
Excellent. I was just starting to talk about the actual band itself. And what I just said to the guys was I was listening to the band earlier. And what I really enjoy about the band is that you have really studied the songs note for note. You close your eyes, it's the closest you're going to get to Penntera without seeing actually Penntera. But what I like is that you aren't trying to be the guys on stage, because there is a fine line you can walk where it can be a bit off-putting if the guys have got wigs on and you're pretending to be the actual guys. But I love the fact that musically you guys have really studied the songs. It's really nice to hear that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's appreciated.
Yep. But
Chris did a lot of work learning all the lyrics and getting everything just right, and making it sound like Phil. He came into the band about a year ago, and he's been
tearing it up.
Freaking godsend for us, man. He crushes it.
Well, I was going to ask as well, how do you decide how do you put the set list together? Do you copy set lists from back in the day? Do you just simply pick your favourite songs? Like, how do you go about picking a Penntera tribute set list?
I do a lot of the set list creation. It's all a council. I send a rough draft and everyone says yes or no. But the way that I started out was the 101 Proof live album that Penntera did.
Yeah.
First of all, a lot of the songs we do as we're doing them, we try to emulate either that version or a really cool live version that we've heard. Like, sometimes I'll be like, hey, listen to what they did in Moscow in 91 and let's try that this time, or, whatever, just to change stuff up. But a lot of times when we're creating the set lists, we create the Penntera had such good pacing with their set list as it was. So a lot of times it's just easy to say, oh, cool, they played Hostile, Love, then Rise all in a row, and it sounds great. We can string them all together, and, the crowd loves it. It's high energy. There's no slowdowns. It's great. So a lot of times we'll pick and choose stuff like that. And then I'll look back. If it's a venue that we played a couple times, I'll try to find the old set list and, see what B-sides we played that time, the last time we played, then maybe play some different B-sides this time. We try to keep all the staples in there. Like every time you see us, we got to play Walk. We got to play Cowboys.
I mean, Penntera was cool because they got to the point where it was like a greatest hits set list. I mean, every single song was great. But I don't know if you'd seen it. Phil, when he was touring with his solo band, Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, they done some Penntera songs, and they done songs that Penntera had never performed live.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Songs like Death Rattle and all those kind of songs. And,
nice.
They sounded great live. It would have been cool if Pantera had managed to continue. Because I think they would have ended up doing all those types of songs live as well. But it is what it is. But
we're really big on B-sides because, like you said, if there's songs that Pantera really never got to play live, then we almost kind of inherited an experience that hasn't been shared yet. Yeah. So we like to kind of hit on those B-sides with some things that they did never really play live. Like you said, like Shedding Skin, they never played a ton live. We love playing that. Or Regular People, Conceit, we play that a lot. So we really like throwing that into a set and throwing it in to reference your earlier question at a point in the set list where it can really have a true Pantera impact. Yeah. So, and we love doing all the little niche stuff that they did. Like Pat mentioned, doing Hostile, going into Love, going into Rise is something that they did. And we just really feel that was a cool experience. So we like doing that for the fans that come to see us as well.
Hey guys, this is James from Black Spiders and Bright Black, and you are watching this Slowhands rock talk show, talking all things music.
Just a very quick message to say thank you for watching. It really is appreciated. If you could hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and remember to hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any future episodes that come out. Now back to the video. I mean, the band itself, as I said, it's been rocking for like 17 years now. Is there any songs that you've still not played that you would like to play live at some point?
We got a list.
We've got a list, and it kind of kicked us in the butt to restart the list when Chris joined. So I'm going to let Chris start this because he's been the one getting on us to learn some new stuff.
Right, what songs are you wanting to hear, Chris?
I mean, one of the songs that I think they didn't really play a lot, I'm a little more towards the heavier vocal, more towards the vulgar display and kind of the Great Southern Trendkill and the Reinventing the Steel sort of albums. Yep. Sandblast was one of the songs that we brought in, a little bit heavier, and I don't think they played much in the past. Looking at songs like Hellbound and War Nerve to kind of add in, I think they weren't played quite as much in the past. Even the hidden tracks off of the 101 album, like Where You Come From, pretty classic songs and kind of cool and haven't been played much.
Yeah, I mean, I think classic Pantera probably opens with New Level. It normally is. But Hellbound is a great opener for any band. It's such that last tour that they done when the Pantera logo, the last tour from back in the early 2000s when it was the real band, when the Pantera logo went on fire and Hellbound. I mean, doesn't get like that. I mean, it was pretty cool. But obviously, see if you weren't playing in a Pantera tribute band, what would be the next tribute band that you would want to play in?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good question.
Because there's plenty of great bands out there. So let's put Pantera aside just now. Who would be your second choice for a tribute band?
I'll go ahead and start this. In Pat and I's original band, we had what we referred to as a Metallica medley. So we learned about a quarter of 4 or 5 Metallica songs, and we kind of strung them together to make a 5.5-minute kind of Metallica tribute area. And in learning enough to do that, I think Pat and I probably learned enough Metallica to do a Metallica tribute band. Yeah. I know that's the easy answer, but with that knowledge already residing in here, I think it'd be pretty easy for us to do. So that's the easy answer.
I thought you were going to say Slipknot or Misfits.
Oh, I'd love to do a Slipknot cover band, but I don't think we're ready for all that.
I don't think you know 8 more people that want to do it.
I do not know 8 more people.
What about yourself, Chris? Could I see you singing Mama Said or Nothing Else Matters?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably pull it off, but I mean, my probably if I was going to commit to 2 answers, I would definitely want to pull off a Slipknot cover band tribute. Yeah. Maybe even like a Five Finger Death Punch tribute would be pretty sweet too.
I'm in.
But it's funny, you're doing a Pantera tribute band. See, when you think of all those great heavy metal bands since the start of the 90s, there really hasn't been anybody that's came close to sounding like Pantera. You know, there's a lot of bands that they do sound similar, and you can see where they've been influenced. But Penntera, in my opinion, they still stand out there by themselves.
Agreed.
And the songs that they wrote, 30 years ago, they sound just as good today as they did when they came out 30 years ago.
Yeah,
they're timeless.
It is very timeless. It's almost as if they buried themselves in a time capsule. And every time you pull them out, there it still holds up, which is kind of crazy. It's transcending generations and transcending musical tastes. Is just something that not every band is capable of.
I mean, it's wild, man. We'll have people who are bringing their 6-year-old kids to the shows, and the kids are on their dad's shoulders and rocking out, and they're singing the words, and we're like, holy crap! They're not just here because their dad wanted to come see the band,
and come to find out, Penntera is their favorite band, and we kind of look at each other like Penntera is my dad's favorite band. Like, what's going on? How is this happening?
Yeah, it's just sad because I do think if everybody was alive and well today, they would have made up years ago, and 100%. I think the band would have been back together, writing and touring, and they still had more to give. It is what it is, but I mean, you've just got to enjoy the songs that they left us with. But excuse me, but obviously early into 2026. So what is the plans for the rest of the year for you guys?
Well, we've been slowly getting the year booked up. Unfortunately, our drummer, he had a little bit of a shoulder injury issue. He's getting better from that. So now that we know he's in the clear, it's, slowly booking up shows, getting the year booked out. We have a really cool show that just got announced a couple days ago in Manassas, Virginia, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C. area, where they're recreating the Metallica M72 tour. It's... Obey Your Master, which is a Metallica tribute band around here. We're good buddies with them.
Yep.
Us, and then a Limp Bizkit tribute band called Red Cap Assassins. And the venue actually is putting together like a round stage, like the Metallica M72 stage, putting fans in the middle, and it's going to be a whole thing. But those are the kind of shows that we're stoked to be a part of.
And the kind of shows that as we advance year by year, we're always trying, of course, naturally to outdo ourselves from the prior years. So having these kinds of opportunities and new venues all around here opening up for us is really great. Over in our area, tribute bands are kind of a regional thing. Different territories for different bands. Nobody wants to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
But it's when you have the opportunity to expand your area a little bit and kind of start doing shows. For us, it'd be a little over toward Ohio, or maybe stretching down like we have the show in Manassas. So our tendrils are always trying to reach out further and further and top ourselves.
Yeah. I'm curious, you are that good a band. Do you ever write originals as a band as well?
Not the four of us together. We've never tried.
We have whispered about it from time to time. We've thought about it, and now that Chris has joined the band, we have a phenomenal singer at our nest. So I wouldn't put it out of the question for the future. We just haven't talked enough about it yet.
Yeah, I would imagine that the only thing is it becomes a bit tricky. Is this a tribute band? Is it an original band? But I often see tribute bands, and the musicians they're all great, and then you think, I wonder if it's just tribute stuff they do, or if they actually try to write their own songs as well.
Right?
Because I think people would still love to hear it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Chris is actively in another band as we speak. He pulls double duty playing with us and is active in his band, and they're absolutely phenomenal. They just let out an EP a few months ago. That's fantastic. I'll let him plug that here later on. And we also are working on an original project together called, what is it called?
Crooked Crown.
Crooked Crown. Yeah.
There are 4 different names.
We're in so many musical projects, it gets a little pushback, but it's, we're doing a little more melodic kind of metal and stuff like that. But we do have our projects, but as far as coming together cohesively with Chris and maybe Space, we haven't really reached into that yet.
What are you doing just now, Chris? Then what's the shout? Do you want to give the other band a shout out?
Sure, yeah. My other band is an original metal band called Voice the Chaos. We're on all media streaming and Apple Music and Spotify, and I kind of give it a blend of like maybe old school Helmet, maybe a little Lamb of God, Breaking Benjamin, Slipknot, kind of all combined and smashed together.
Excellent. That's fine. What I'll do is, obviously, anybody that wants to check out the band, www.penntera.com. They can find out up-and-coming shows and any other news that's going on with you guys. Before we finish up, though, I like to ask some fun questions. So I'll ask the questions, you tell me what pops into your head, okay?
Cool.
So imagine you could go back in time, anywhere in the world. Doesn't need to just be Penntera, but what's the one concert that each of you wish that you could have attended?
I definitely would have wanted to an old school Led Zeppelin concert. It would have been sweet.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been cool. What about the other guys? Pat, Zach?
I'd say probably Monsters of Rock 91 in Russia.
I was going to say.
Because then I get Metallica and Penntera.
Yeah, Monsters of Rock 91 in Russia, absolutely.
I mean, there's 5 million people there. We might be pretty far back, but...
And it was a little hostile territory. Yeah. But to be fair, I mean, just the absolute weight that show carries and the amount of times that I've watched that show on YouTube and it's just... If you were to rephrase that question and ask me what do I think the biggest festival Penntera ever played was, I'd answer the same way. It's just, it was a had to be there kind of thing, and the crowd looked like they got their behinds beat, but it looked like a good time.
I think I seen an interview with Rex, and he said that him and Phil were at the side of the stage and they wanted to go out to the sound booth, out in the crowd to watch Metallica, but by the time they got there, half the concert was finished already because it took that long to actually get there.
Oh my god! That's crazy.
See, a similar question. Obviously, whether it be this band just now, or one of your other bands, see if you could go back and attend one of your own gigs as a spectator. Is there a particular gig for each of you that stands out that you would think that might have been quite cool to actually see me perform at that gig?
I got one. Our original band, it was even before he was in it. It's called Extra Fee. And we were doing a Battle of the Bands thing. I'm not a big fan of doing Battle of the Bands stuff, but this one was pretty cool. And we were in the finals. We had probably 30 minutes just to play for the judges and all that kind of stuff. The room was packed. It was we probably brought 20 people with us, and the rest were just, fans from other places, other bands, other people, whatever. After we got done playing, every single person in the crowd was just chanting our name and fist pumping and everything else. It was just the weirdest. It was the first time I'd ever had us feeling like that before. Like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to be a rock star. So I feel like it would be really cool to, see that from an out of body experience. I still think about that show to this day. It wasn't, it wasn't the most profitable show. We didn't win the Battle of the Bands or anything, but just that feeling of being on stage, giving it our all, and having the crowd there, giving all the energy back to us. It's a memory that's going to stick with me forever.
What about yourself, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, I would love to open up for any mainstream band at any show, really. I mean, I think one of the pivotal moments in my life is I was in an old original band and we didn't play the same night, but this old club called Fleckers in Fells Point, Maryland, down around the Inner Harbor. I had seen Downplay there when they were touring with their first. We played a show there on the same stage and had a pretty phenomenal crowd, and it was just kind of cool to know that I was on the same stage as early System of a Down, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the same for myself. Years ago, a band I was playing in, we played on the same stage. It was like a week later that I'd seen Sepultura play.
Nice.
The fact that I was standing on the same stage,
absolutely
pretty cool. But question for each of you. What's your favourite Penntera album? What's your favourite Penntera song?
Cowboys Domination for me.
Okay, yeah, Domination song for me. Album, probably Vulgar.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I would say Vulgar and This Love is probably one of my favorites. I think it was, in my day, growing up with Penntera, it was one of those songs that showed me that you could have a melodic vocal with a heavy screaming vocal all in the same song put together in an amazing arrangement.
Yeah, no, that's cool. For each of you, Does the perfect album, start to finish, exist? And if so, what is the album or albums?
Man, we all have such niche musical opinions.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
Or maybe you think that the perfect album doesn't exist. That could be an answer.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple that I will listen to all the way through, and it's one of those things where I go, man, I didn't have to skip a single song. This was great, good time. I'd say probably Vulgar if we're going to be in the Penntera realm. Every song on Vulgar is a banger. There's not one song I'll skip. Outside of that, we were talking about it earlier. Master of Puppets is probably one for me, and Ascendancy by Trivium is probably the one from my teenage years that I still listen to, and I can just turn that thing on and I can listen to it for 3 days in a row and not turn it off.
Yeah, I absolutely have to agree with Pat on Ascendancy with Trivium. That's just such a monumental album, and you couldn't turn off that album if you tried.
Yeah.
That album will suck you in. I also have to go with The Wall by Pink Floyd. I think that it's one of the most humongous masterpieces ever created as far as music goes. It's especially being obviously a rock opera. So that was fantastic. And I have to go a little bit niche as well and say Blackwater Park by Opeth. I can sit and listen to in a solid setting any day of the week, anytime, and not even realize that I've been listening to it as long as I have.
I've seen Trivium a couple of times. It's always been them supporting someone. And I felt sorry for them because the first time I seen them, they were supporting Iron Maiden. And,
nice.
Man.
As much as they were good, this was probably early 2000s. So I think they had maybe one album out at the time.
This was before they were cool, and it was cool to hate them.
Yeah.
Where it was that thing where it didn't matter what they did. People just did not want to hear Trivium. They wanted Iron Maiden to come on.
Yeah,
And,
nobody could have.
Someone actually took their shoe off, and they actually managed to hit the singer in the face with their shoe. That's how bad it was.
A little George Bush situation.
What do you think, Chris? Does the perfect album exist for you?
That's a difficult question. Of course, I'm a super heavy metal guy through and through, but I will say another one. I'm kind of going a little off the wall. The very first Linkin Park album, Hybrid Theory.
Yes, that's the one.
Every song on that album was a banger, and I really that album.
That's fine. I'm going to ask a question. It's going to put someone in the band, paint them in a bad light, but that's up to you guys. So imagine it's 4:00 in the morning. You have a dead body in the back of your car. You need help disposing of this body, no questions asked. Which member of the band are you phoning for help and why? Start with Chris.
Oh, man. Woo! I might say Spaceman, our drummer. He seems to have a lot of, and probably wouldn't ask me any questions and would just help me out.
Yeah. I'm also going to say Spaceman behind the kit because he is the kind of guy that he's not going to ask a single question. He's not going to be mad that you called him. He's going to go, all right, man, sounds good. I'm on my way.
Pat, are you picking on Spaceman as well?
Oh, no, I'm saying he's a fantastic person. What about you?
It would probably have to be Space for that exact reason.
Yeah.
If not, it'd be him because he lives a mile away from my house.
That's true. I'm also a no questions asked friend. But once I got there, I'd be like, oh, no.
I would never hear the end of it. You give me shit for
Plus, he's a drummer, so he's used to lifting up heavy things.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, he is. Yes. Yeah, he's big-hearted guy. He's never going to say no to helping a friend.
That's fine. As you know, thousands and thousands of great songs written and recorded across the years by different artists, different bands. For each of you, what's the one song you wish you could have sat in the recording studio to witness the band record the song?
Okay, so I mentioned earlier, I'm obviously a big Pink Floyd fan, a huge fan of The Wall. One of the closing songs on the album is called The Trial. And it is the most whimsical, comical caricature of what Roger Waters is capable vocally. And I would pay money to sit in the recording of that and watch Roger Waters become a different person to record that song. It's the craziest, most caricatured version of Roger Waters. It's hilarious.
That's fine.
I feel like it'd be cool to see Zeppelin like recording back, like their album for like Stairway and all that kind of stuff. The big mansion they rented, and I think they wrote Stairway in like 20 minutes. It would just be so cool to be part of that and know what that 20 minutes meant for the rest of music time. I feel like that'd be cool. And then on the flip side, I feel like it'd be fun to sit in like a Van Halen recording with like David Lee Roth ad-libbing lyrics the whole way through everything. I feel like I'd just be dying.
That would be insane.
Yeah. What about yourself, Chris?
Man, yeah, I'd probably go with. I think Led Zeppelin would definitely be a choice, but I think I'd also like to see some of the songs off the first Rage Against the Machine album recorded live in a big room and just kind of recorded the songs. I think that'd be cool to see them, and just to see some of the interesting guitar work that was done as well.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I sit around and watch Penntera do their thing.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah.
But
That's one of those questions I could probably ask you every day for the next year, and you could probably give me a different answer every day.
Yep, absolutely good.
Yeah. Last question for yourself. Again, it's probably an answer that could change daily, but for today, for each of you, who's your Mount Rushmore when it comes to bands? Who's the 4 bands for yourself? Whether it just be the fact that you like listening to them, a band that influenced you when you were younger, somebody that you just enjoy the performance, the songwriting. Who's the 4 bands for yourself today that you would put on your Mount Rushmore?
Ooh, good one.
Chris, do you want to start that one?
Sure. That one. I mean, Penntera is by far my number one. I grew up with them through and through, and everything about me. There's a part of me in everything that they do, and they've influenced me so heavily. Probably Penntera, I would say Tool, Metallica, and probably Deftones.
All right, cool.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say probably Sabbath started everything. They deserve a spot.
Yep.
The Metallica, Penntera, and then for the 4th one, I'd probably have to go Maiden, I think. Yeah, probably Maiden.
That holds up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna absolutely share Penntera and Metallica on there because they've been so influential to me as a musician through our working musician phases, and Penntera has meant so much to me in literally the entire second half of my life now.
Yeah.
So got to have Penntera on there, Metallica on there. I am one of the world's biggest Slipknot fans ever, so I have to have Slipknot on there. And then lastly, I'm going to throw Pink Floyd on there because it's just a band that means so much to me beyond music. It's just has a really strong emotional tie to me and my upbringing, and it's just it's a very comforting band for me, and I have to have it up there.
I'm just laughing because the same notice board that I've got behind the camera, there's a Slipknot ticket on there from February 2000.
Oh my gosh.
And it was the Barrowlands, same place in Glasgow again, the Barrowlands, 2000 standing. And it was I think it was Slipknot's first tour of the UK. The ticket,
it had to have been.
It was £10.
Oh my god!
I think you would probably pay. It must be easily £100 or more now.
Absolutely.
To go and see them.
Yeah. The first time I saw them was in 2009, and I probably paid $40 or $50 for that. Yeah. And now trying to go see Slipknot, it's probably like $150, something like that.
I think it's like over 100 when we saw it.
It's crazy.
2018.
Well,
yeah,
I've actually got my Metallica tickets for Metallica are playing here in July, I think it is.
Oh yeah,
and that was £150. For the ticket, that's the most expensive ticket I've ever bought.
That hurts. That hurts.
There's a ticket stub. There's a ticket stub back there from 30 years ago when I went to see them, and it was £19.50.
Oh man, what a difference, right?
it was Metallica with Corrosion of Conformity supporting them.
Oh, nice.
30 years ago. I just feel old now.
What an influential show.
Yeah.
I know. But guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been good chatting to you. As I said, I always say to people, check out the website for gig dates. Go along to the gigs. If there's merchandise, buy the merch. That's always important. with regard to social media, give you a follow, subscribe. If you've got anything music-wise, stream it, all that sort of good stuff as well. But I look forward to it. I'll keep in touch. I like the videos that are coming out, and I look forward to hearing if you ever decide to do anything original as well.
Yes.
You'll be the first to hear about it, man.
And you can obviously come back on and talk about that as well. But enjoy the rest of your day. And if you're ever over in Scotland, give me a shout. I'll come along.
All right. Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds good.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Take care, man.
Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Thank you.